Okay, namaskar, namaste, vanakkam, greetings to all. Huh? Long time no see, now we see here. So, I think Ganesh is going to conduct this whole thing, is it?
No, sir, you are conducting.
No, no. Gam, we have to start with Gam Ganapataya Nama, no, Ganesh. So, what is this supposed to be? A program like interaction, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we'll start with a small prayer.
Okay.
And so our prayer will be done by Jaya.
Okay. Okay. Start.
अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि आदिमध्यान्तरहितनारणि अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि आदिमध्यान्तरहितनारणि पूर्णयोगिनि पूर्णभोगिनि पूर्णपद्मिनि तेजसी हेमवर्णशुभाकिनि जय हेममालिनि षोडशी अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि पञ्च ब्रह्मप्रवर्तिनी सौभाग्यपञ्चदशाक्षरी पञ्चब्रह्मप्रवर्तिनी सौभाग्यपञ्चदशाक्षरी पञ्चतत्त्वप्रपञ्चकारिणि पञ्चभूतमहेश्वरी पञ्चतत्त्वप्रपञ्चकारिणि पञ्चभूतमहेश्वरी अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि आदिमध्यान्तरहितनारणि अन्नपूरणि स्वर्णपूरणि.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you.
Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari is very happy. Okay. Now we can start.
Okay. So there are two parts. So if you'd like to speak, or we are always willing to listen.
No, no, no. You can start the interaction.
Okay, sir.
Pranam Babaji,
That's you.
can you hear? Yeah. Um, I'm seeking your blessings for my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Maybe many more good birthdays.
Thank you. And I have a question, Baba, which I have been thinking for a while,
Okay.
very recently. It's about the departed souls.
Okay.
Like we do pujas and rituals
Yes.
every month or on the anniversary, like that.
Correct.
But we also believe that after they pass this body, after they depart the body, so they take either any other incarnations or attain mukti, or they are lingering. So, are we disturbing their souls in any way? Like if we are doing the pujas and rituals, or thinking of them, or is it important to do the pujas?
That's a better question.
Yeah.
Anyway, first thing is people are under an illusion that as soon as you pass away from the body, present body, you are immediately born. It doesn't happen that way. Nobody is immediately born somewhere else. There is a borderline period. It depends on various factors and various persons how long they take to come back.
Okay.
Nobody comes back immediately. Unless he's a yogi who knows how to leave and enter a body, it's not possible. So, the question is, during this intermediate state, which the Tibetans call Bardo, where are they? Are they lingering here? Or are they in some other realm? Or are they enjoying the fruits of their good karmas in the state called Swarga, which actually is similar to deep sleep, where you enjoy, you know. So you can't pinpoint exactly what a person, the person's soul is doing at that particular time, because it can differ.
Okay.
Some, yeah. So they're certainly not lingering here. The maximum time that a soul that leaves the body can linger is 3 days. Maximum. Beyond that, generally most people get old, they're fed up and they go off. But if you have some attachments, then you might linger for a couple of days. Beyond that, nobody can linger because there's a force that pulls them out. So then, depending on their activities and feelings and desires, they may be in different kind of states and realms. Right. There is no guarantee that they are hearing your prayers. There is no guarantee. Okay. But why are these rituals prescribed? So that you don't forget them for all that they have done for us, all the good things that they have done to us. And also, the prayers reach those higher level forces who may be helping them to move forward in their evolution. It will not directly reach them, they can't hear you, right? Except maybe 2 days, 3 days, perhaps. You can't say that also. So most people just move off. And there are a few people who, after dying, don't know that they have died. They create their own world where the whole family is there. You don't have to worry about them. They're enjoying you, even if you're not there. Okay? So then after some time, they also realize, oh God, this is a make-believe world, and then they're set free finally. So all the rituals are only meant, one, to send out thoughts which will help them to evolve, to tell those guardians of theirs that look, we are sending prayers and thanks to them. Otherwise, they have no impact. So, if you ask me the question, is it important to pray for them or perform the rituals? I would say do that as long as you don't feel responsible that you have neglected them. Once you feel that, okay, I have done my job, I have done my duty, now they are in the feet of the Lord, leave it there. There is no necessity to do it. But there is no harm in doing it. Don't waste too much time on it. And also, let me one more thing, but if you don't do any ritual, how will the pujari survive?
Okay. Okay.
Everybody says, oh, I have stopped. Then what will they do? So there's no harm. There's a good thing to serve a Brahmin, so that's all right.
Especially with my father, no, like I feel that I don't feel like doing it now.
Tell in your mind, make a prayer in your mind, you're free.
Yeah.
You're free of attachments, I am freeing you from me. From now on, I am not doing anything, but every day I remember you and pray for your well-being. More than enough. Sufficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sir, next I'd like to call upon Balaji. Who, he wanted to say a few words.
Okay.
It is a little bit in line with the previous question only, sir. I'm in a great grief. I lost my wife 2 months back to blood cancer. You know about it.
I know that.
And I have a son who is 11 years old, mildly autistic. I just want to know what sort of a mindset I should have now to continue with stay course on this. Right now, it is taken up a lot of my this thing. So, just wanted what sort of a mindset I should have now to cross this journey.
Look, all the blessings of all our parampara are with you. You have to be brave at this point. You cannot give up. First of all, you have a child who cannot do anything. He needs to be looked after. And you're saying that your wife has gone, but see, nobody really dies or nobody really is born. I know it's difficult to accept at this point, but it's true. From our understanding, the soul neither dies nor is it reborn. So she is there somewhere. She may be evolving in her own way. You saw the body die with cancer, right? But she, how can she go? She's somewhere. I'm not saying you should try to no. That is the worst thing to do, because then souls have their own evolution, they have their own movement, and they will carry on with their lives. So we shouldn't do that. We can always send some good thoughts and prayers saying that may you evolve in your own way. I have a loss, but I am coping with it. Okay? And say, now you're free. I will look after the child. Don't worry. This kind of thought should go. It's more important than chanting a mantra, for instance.
Okay.
Because, and talk in a language which you talk usually in.
Yeah.
Okay? God or the Supreme Reality does not understand only Sanskrit. Any heartfelt talk is enough.
Sure.
So do that, and I support you and pray you to the best of my ability for you to cope with this. It is not easy. I can sit here and say, the fact is it's not easy, but we have to be brave and courageous at this point.
Sure.
Especially because you have a child to look after. Huh?
Yes.
Meditate more.
Yes.
Try to reach that center in you which has no death and no birth.
I'm doing my Kriya daily, sir.
Regularly. Good. This is the time to increase your Kriya. Keep doing it. Put more attention to it.
Okay. Seek your blessings, sir.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Balaji.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, so on a related note, I have a question, and you can answer that if you so choose.
Sure.
See, we all know the Mrityunjay mantra,
Yes.
and you also explained it in several satsangs.
Yes.
It just occurred to me the other day when I was hearing a satsang of yours about when Maheshwarnath Babaji passed away, and you were there. And it occurred to me that he might be perhaps an epitome of what that mantra conveys, or that shloka conveys. So if you could just talk a little bit about that in the context of his life and his Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, it would be wonderful if possible.
See, it is very difficult to talk about Maheshwarnath Babaji for me, because I have not been able to put him in any kind of bracket that one can judge. But since I also knew him personally, very closely, physical body, touching, massaging his feet, bringing water, looking after him, sometimes unmatting his matted hair and so on. What I found was, even though there was this being sitting in front of me, it was only an image. Behind that, there was only the infinite. It's like when he passed away, of course, because of the personal attachment, I felt grief. But then I thought to myself, immediately after that this is like, he was like a pot kept in the shape of Maheshwarnath Babaji in the air here. And then the pot broke, and the air inside and the air outside became the same. That was the impression I got. After that, no grief, no more grief. Because I knew he is not going anywhere, not coming anywhere, is eternal and everywhere. Not as that particular personality, but as the Supreme Reality, as the essence. Now, the meaning of the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, some people chant it in difficulties, when they are in trouble, when they are afraid of death, and so on. The Mahamrityunjaya. The Mahamrityunjaya is actually a supplication to the Supreme Being to free you from the attachment of the body and the mind and make you take you to moksha. This is the, see, Urvarugamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat. Just like the pumpkin that when it becomes ripe falls off from the stem that connects it to the plant. In the same way, free me from death. So it's not freeing from ordinary death. It is freeing one from the fear of death by understanding that you are not the body. And Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam has many meanings. One is the wonderful fragrance of spiritual growth, and the other is Pushti, means energy, strength, health. All this is Pushti. So, enjoyment. In fact, there is one Vaishnava Sampradaya called Pushti Marga, started by Vallabhacharya, who went all the way from Andhra Pradesh and settled in Rajasthan. There is only crew that after doing your kirtan bhajans give you nice pan bida, great fragrance, to eat, enjoy the rasa of Krishna. So, seeing Maheshwarnath Babaji, I understood the fact for sure that he is not confined to the body, and that he taught me the mantra, Mahamrityunjaya mantra, and he told me that this is to win over death by understanding that you are deathless, not the physical body. He also left the physical body. Don't ask me, but Mahavatar Baba, Sri Guru Babaji is still on, so how is this possible? Because he is not born from the womb of a human being. Anyone who is born from the womb of a human being, even though they live for long, they have to go. No question. Vyasa has gone, Adi Shankara has gone, then who would you leave? Now, if there is a being who is just an appearance and not really physical, then it's a different matter altogether. That's why I refer to Sri Guru Babaji as a being and not as a person. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And I'll go on to the next person,
Okay.
Kalyani.
Okay.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sir, my question to you is,
There's a lady dancing behind you. Okay.
that's my daughter's,
Okay.
I don't know what she calls it, some princess or something.
Okay.
Sir, my question is, we humans, I mean, I don't know about everybody, but then, we all have many of us for that matter, go through a lot of conflicting thoughts. And one of the things that has been like, going around in my mind is that, how to be compassionate always with everyone, I mean, in whatever situation they are in, without remembering if they have harmed you in the past, or if they had said something to you that hurt you, and get over all those negative feelings, and whatever you can do at that point of time, in the sense like take the right decision even in the toughest of the situations, how to tell yourself that it's okay, you don't have to you don't have to be vengeful or like carry those negative feelings with you all the time. So that's my question for today.
So, it especially aggravates when you are staying in the same place without going out. Because otherwise you're going out, you forget about it, you come back, it remember, it goes on. But when you're stuck for days together, months together in one place, then all these things come to the fore. Quite natural. I think you can deliberately create a mindset which says, no, I don't want to listen to all this, it's all past. But the fact is, you have to understand the situation as it actually is, which is, what happened at that time is no longer here. It's only there in my mind. It's nowhere else. If you had tweaked my ear, actually my maths teacher tweaked my ear once, Govalishna ear. If you have tweaked my ear, that happened long ago. It doesn't exist anymore. I cannot hold the tweaking of my ear against poor Gopalakrishna ear after so many years when I'm 70 years old. When it was done when I was maybe 12. It appears to be a contradiction because it doesn't exist anymore. Neither is there the pain, nor is he around again to tweak my ear. But the memory of it, for me, it's a pleasant memory. I take it as a joke now. Suppose I feel, oh, it's so painful, this fellow. So you have to get rid of that idea that it's only in my, that it's not there actually, but it's only in my mind. Therefore, since it's in my mind, it's a thing of the past because it's a memory. And if we have to lead a life here in this world happily, we need to stay in the present and not get caught up with these unpleasant memories of old. If there are pleasant memories, please do remember them. It's a good idea. You don't have to cut off the mind's past altogether. Cut off that which is unpleasant, saying it doesn't remain anymore. And joyous experiences, let them be, but say they don't exist now, but they are pleasant memories for me. That's the only way to live in this life. There is no other way. Because what has been done cannot be undone. You can't undo it. But you can understand that what has been done is only a memory, therefore it has no substance now. That we can understand. Once we understand that and move on, then it's possible to carry on with life. And you're right, in this time when we are stuck here, inside the house, inside wherever we are, for months together with no way to express. Sometimes these things come to the surface and aggravate. One more solution for this is to do something positive to undo this. Suppose somebody has insulted you at one time. If you see that person, give good thoughts, saying, it's okay, don't worry, I'm okay. You don't have to say it if your ego doesn't allow you to, but at least in your mind you should say, it's okay. It's a good lesson for me. I've learned many things to improve my mind and move on with life. Abandon this and move. Yes.
We'll try Dr. Umesh again. I think he's back.
Dr. Umesh.
Yes, sir.
Where are you? I can only hear your voice. There you are.
Yeah. So, Guruji,
Yes.
if karmas are predestined,
Who said karmas are
if every action, let me complete, Guruji.
Okay.
And if every action has good and bad at
Yes.
each moment of life,
Yes.
will Kriya and Pranayams uplift us to the divinity? Small question.
Small question. Question is small. Answer may be not so small, but I'll try to make it small. Can you repeat the first sentence?
If karmas are predestined in one's life,
See, karmas are not predestined. That is a completely wrong impression. Karmas are what you do in this life based on the circumstances in which you were born. And the results of that karma are seen in this life if you have done something before. Agreed. But they're not, you can't call it predestined. At that time you did it with your complete understanding. You didn't do it because you ignorance, out of ignorance. You actually did it. So you are responsible for your karmas. Please remember that. So therefore, the first step required to be free of the karmic bondage is responsibility for what you have done. And say, yes, I am responsible. Now I need to free myself from that. Now, for that, Kriya is of course important. It could be this Kriya or any other Kriya. Practice is important so that your consciousness is lifted from the gross to the subtle step by step. Important. However, you have to decide in your mind that this particular set of karmas, which I did at one time, because of which I am going through the consequences, I shall deliberately not repeat it. That we should do first, before you even practice Kriya. Like I might have hurt somebody in my previous life. Now make sure that I don't do the same thing again so that it gets repeated again and again. Now, for what you have done, you can clear it with Kriya. But then if you keep on repeating it again and again, how much Kriya will you do to keep it clear? Whatever you have done, clear it with Kriya. I understand. But make sure that you don't do it again so that you again don't fall into that. Then you might have to do Kriya for another 10 lives to be free. Because every day you are adding. So make sure that you don't add every day. You understand what I'm trying? I think you understand.
Yes.
Well, yes, karma has the kriya has the capacity to wash off many of the things that you have done. I agree with you fully. Otherwise, why would I be sitting? I would have been a terrible sinner. It has washed off. But I should make sure that in my this life I don't keep on making again the same mistake. Then I have to again next year life do. Now I don't have to. It's all gone and broken. Everything is over. The secret is out and the pots are broken and finished. But I'm just saying generally, you have to be sure what you do now so that you don't keep on increasing your negative karmas. And practice Kriya to neutralize your previous karmas. Right? Is that okay? Any other question, doctor?
Is there a good force, a negative force, always acts in life?
Yes, there is. Whenever there is good, there is bad. Whenever there is light, there is darkness. This is understood. So wherever there is positive, there is also negative. The other side is negative. So our idea should be to move towards that which is positive and to avoid that which is negative. And in this also Kriya helps because it washes the negative so that there is space for the positive to come. But you should also make a deliberate decision that you will not indulge in things which bring about negativity. You can't say every day I'll do Kriya, wash off, then add some more. Everything. Be free, okay? Look at me. Be free.
Thank
If
you.
I can be free, why can't you be free? Huh? No, simple question. Look at me. I have one nose only, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 2 eyes. I have a body, I have hair. I'm free. You have to take it on faith. I'm saying I'm free. So you have also the same amount of ears, eyes, everything. So why can't you be free? Why? Think first that I am free. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. For your information, we have recorded the Nirvana Shataka. It will come out in a few days.
Dr. Lakshmi Tyagaraja, she had a question for you.
Yes.
Pranams, Babaji. Babaji, I have 2 questions. One is about how to come out of the unknown fears in life, like mostly in line with Kalyani Mans. And another is I want to know about Carl Jung's collective unconscious and the Sankhya consciousness. Are there any similarities?
Say that again. Say the last question again.
Sir, Carl Jung's collective unconscious that he talks about. Carl Jung, collective unconscious that he talks
I
about.
got it.
And Sankhya's pure consciousness. Are there any similarities between them?
Sankhya's pure consciousness are beyond the discussions of collective consciousness which Carl Jung makes. It's beyond that. Carl Jung was very much on the doorstep of Sankhya. But since he didn't have a training in Sankhya, he missed the bus. But it was a great research, definitely, there is no doubt. He called it collective consciousness. Now, what happens when Carl Jung says collective consciousness, he is talking about the sum total of the consciousness of everybody living on this earth. Collective consciousness.
Yes, yes.
Yes. When Sankhya talks about Purusha, the supreme consciousness, they are not talking about the collective consciousness of all living beings. They are talking about the pure consciousness which is in all living beings and which is revealed when the mind is totally purified. These are two things, but they are linked. Because a human being cannot have consciousness without Purusha.
It is mostly the speck of the consciousness.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah, then the unknown fears, it is good to explore the fears and make them known so that you can deal with them. How can you deal with unknown fears?
How to explore, sir? This again Jung's philosophy, no, sir. Shadows of the unconscious.
Yeah, so you need to go behind the shadows. You have to go beyond the shadows. You have to look so closely that the shadows disappear and you see the reality. You can't deal with fears which are unknown. It's impossible. You need to come face to face with the fear to be able to deal with it. In the night, if somebody tells us, there's your daughter, young girl is sitting there. Who is that?
My daughter, sir.
Your daughter. What's your name?
Anchita.
Hmm?
Anchita.
Anchita. Now suppose when she was smaller than now, somebody told her, in the dark there is a ghost hiding, so don't go out. This will remain with her forever. She won't go out in the dark because there is a ghost hiding. Right? Suppose she says, what ghost? Let me go and check. She goes in the dark and she said, see, there is no ghost, it's gone. That's what I mean. The fear is always of the unknown. But if you look at it and find out, explore behind the shadow, you will find the truth, which is not fearful at all.
Explore that unknown, sir.
Yeah?
How to explore that unknown, sir?
Explore the unknown is to first get free of all that is known. There is, you can call it beyond the known. Krishnamurti has written a good collection of talks called Freedom from the Known.
I read it, sir.
Right. So if you go deep into it, then you free yourself from the known. You know that all this known is not, then there is the unknown. And when you see the unknown, you will see that there is nothing to fear. It is the reality, the unknown. Why is it unknown? Because our limited minds cannot grasp it. Okay? This will go on. So can we shift to somebody? It's a big discussion. I'm glad you put it up.
Sir, as you know, we've been doing a variety of activities in Chennai. So Ravi here has been spearheading been supporting a lot of them. So I just want him to talk a few things about the various activities. I know you are aware of various things, but it's also for the benefit of everybody.
Sure.
Hari Om, sir. This pandemic has brought in a lot of, gave us an opportunity to do seva. And through satsang, the Chennai satsangis have joined together. And almost from 27th of March, we have been on trying to do some seva or the other.
Right.
From 27th for 50 days or so, we had a community a kitchen run. We must have fed about 150,000 migrant laborers through the Corporation of Chennai.
Very nice.
Subsequently, once the migrants started moving to their native villages, we opened 2 community kitchens where they were all quarantined. They couldn't go out, they couldn't work, they couldn't buy anything. So we provided them with rations, and those volunteers, we encouraged them to cook and help themselves. So there was almost 500 families which were benefited through our seva. Then we thought it has come to a stage where the food distribution is endless and we need to move on, we started off making masks, which we thought was one of the paramount things to protect people from getting infection. So we identified a few NGOs, destitute women, mentally challenged people. Through them, we started making these masks and distributing it free through various organizations and individuals. And till now, we would have distributed about 60,000 masks in and around Chennai. And that continues. Even tomorrow, we will be giving about 1,000 masks to a school near Mahabalipuram through Ramakrishna Mission, which was brought in by another Satsangi, Mrs. Vidya. So tomorrow it will be delivered to them. So another area where we have started off recently is one more thing which everybody has to maintain is a personal hygiene. We thought we could build some wash stations and keep it in public places like parks, temples, hospitals, primary centers, corporation office, where a lot of people go there for help and other things.
Portable?
Wash station, something like basin.
Closed or open?
You don't need to touch it with hand and use.
Yeah, I got it.
On your feet, you have the wall. There's a soap dispenser and water coming from the tap. So we have so far done about 16 of them in various places in Chennai. And most of them are sponsored by some Satsangi or some NGO or some group of friends. So we have kept it in Mylapore Temple. There are 2 in Nageshwara Park, then in Jiva Park, in Nungambakkam Corporation Ground, in Mylapore MLA's office, like that, where a lot of people frequent that place. We have kept it there in parks and gymnasiums in and around the corporation parks we have kept, which is getting extensively used. And lot of
No, it's very good, very good.
During this lockdown, it has given us an opportunity, as you were mentioning, get into some seva, which takes out that fear and of the unknown and brings us into doing a lot of good for the society. I was really thank Satsang and your guidance and your blessings to continue this activity. And with the team of Ganesh and others, they've done excellent service, and a lot of people are looking, started asking, what is the Satsang and who are these people? So
I am very thankful to you that you have been doing this thing. Unless and until we practically do what we feel in our hearts, it's of no use. If you say everybody is the same, then everybody needs help. So it's a wonderful thing. I have to thank all the Satsangis in Chennai and also other places. They have been working, Bombay and so on, for this. While we are on the subject, have you finished or no?
I would like to even contribute in the last time when you were mentioning about water.
Yes.
Conserving water.
Yeah.
I've done some study and I've been...
Very important. I'm talking about rainwater harvesting.
Yes, exactly. The concept is no more rainwater harvesting. It is making wells, which is known as recharge wells.
Right.
We are planning to take up that work once the monsoon session.
Very good, very good. It's very important. So much water is wasted. We have rains and then we don't have rains. When there are rains, all the water is wasted. It just flows off. So some kind of conservation system can make you actually self-sufficient.
Exactly.
It has been done in many places. We should also be able to do that. Yeah, but since we are on the subject, I must tell you that from ancient times, people knew the value of hygiene and the value of not getting too close socially. Social distancing. See, when you talk to somebody, you keep your hand like this. Why? So that your spit doesn't, who knows what infection you have? God knows. The Jain monks for hundreds of years have been wearing a mask. There was no COVID that time. And it's incumbent on all people to wash their feet when they get into the house. wash their hands before eating. All these hygienic trends have already been there, but we tend to forget them. And now something is a rude awakening. Okay, get back. This is required. It's not disrespect or respect, it's a question of personal hygiene. Right?
As you know, Coimbatore has also done a lot of work, so I just call upon Srilata to, just say a couple of words on that.
Sure.
Pranams Babaji.
Yes.
Am I audible?
I can not only audible, you're quite visible also.
Thank you. I don't want to take much time since you're aware of the activities that has been happening.
Yeah.
So we started with the frontline workers with helping out city polices, then moved with hospitals, helping out nurses and the doctors, providing them with all the PPE kits. Then we moved to migrants, so many underprivileged background families. We helped almost 2,000 families with dry rations and all that. Then finally we had pitched in at tribal village in and around Nilgiris. Those children were really deprived of this connectivity issue during this pandemic. Unlike the private schools, they didn't have the facility to go on with their education. That's when we pitched in there with giving them a lot of workbooks that will sustain for another 3 months in order to continue with their education. So this was the last thing we had done, and we are going to go for the second round in the next month.
Okay.
So that's about Coimbatore.
Thank you very much. Okay. Ganesh?
Yes, sir. So there's pretty much every government hospital in Chennai, the police and the corporation, various wards, they've contributed in some way or the other. So a good thing to just let you know.
Sure.
Next, I would like to call upon Shanmugavalli, the lady who did the beautiful arrangements in Nerur. So I'll ask her, she has a question for you.
Sure. Namaste. Vanakkam.
Good evening, sir. Sir, actually, my daughter is 17 years old, sir.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to tackle her. Actually, please guide us in bringing up the children with moral and cultural values, sir.
So where is your daughter?
Sir, she's in my sister-in-law's place, sir.
Okay. So how old is she?
17, sir.
What is she doing?
12th standard, sir. Studying 12th.
Where?
Coimbatore. Actually, we are from Karur, sir. But for schooling, in this pandemic, we are back to Karur, sir.
Okay, okay.
Indian public school. She's
Indian.
studying.
Okay, okay. So why are you worried about her so much?
Sir, because actually we are living in a village, sir. Not actually it's a town, it's a village.
Right. I am also living in a village in Madanapalli. Huh? Yeah.
There's always she's wearing modern dresses.
So look, that is not, you can't hold it against her.
Not that, sir. But actually, what she's not responding to us. What is your problem? Tell me. She's not giving respect, I feel, to elders. She doesn't want anyone to interfere in her routine.
Look, many young children, boys or girls, pass through this phase. You needn't get too worried about that. They pass through this phase. It is a teenage phase. They rebel. They don't want to hear what you... This is normal. Look, I'm a married man. I had 2 teenagers growing up in my house, my son and my daughter. So it happens. You need to handle it with care. You must treat her like a friend. She's grown up now. She's no more a small child. You must treat her like your friend. You know, and for some time, say yes to everything she says till she becomes your friend. Then you try to change. Don't push hard, don't shout, don't do all that. It doesn't work. These children are very intelligent. They're, you can't fool them. It's impossible because they sometimes think better than us, sharper than us. So my suggestion is, sometime when I go that side, I would love to meet this girl. Meanwhile, don't tell us you meet one Swamiji and all. I'll wear jeans and t-shirt and come. Don't worry. So what I'm trying to say is, first, try to be her friend. Understand her problems. Sit down, have a chat, go for a walk. Don't even try to give her any spiritual and religious advice. It may not work at this point. Go for a walk, talk to her, sit down until she says, okay, my mother is like my friend. Then you will get to know the actual problems. It will open up then. Otherwise, they also coat themselves in exterior, which you cannot crack. Remember that. I'll help you, don't worry. You have only one?
Yes, sir, only
That
one.
makes it more complicated. Okay. We'll see what happens. Ganesh also has two there sitting. I can't see them. I think they went off. They must have been feeling restless.
We let them free, sir, like you said.
So don't worry, Shanmugavalli. We can work on this, okay? Don't give up so easily. Huh? Okay? Right.
சார் யாருமே தமிழ்லயே பேச மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க.
என்ன செய்யறதுங்க? நானும் அதான் கேட்டுருக்கேன். யாரும் தமிழ்ல பேச மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. சென்னை குரூப்ல.
Next, அடுத்தது Srinivasan. He had a...
Okay. Srinivasan, we have only 5 minutes more.
Okay.
Srinivasan, yes. இது எங்க இருக்கீங்க? Are you sitting on the beach?
I'm trying to recreate a Mahabalipuram feeling.
How? How do you recreate?
No, this is a background.
Oh, okay, okay. I really thought you are sitting on the beach somewhere. Okay.
A quick one. The most important or peaceful part of my routine or life is when I am able to listen to your talks, contemplate on them, and also do Kriya.
Okay.
So this phase actually, the possibility of doing Kriya, contemplation, meditation goes for some period of time.
Yeah.
The mind goes all over the other side, where all this is forgotten. Now it goes like a cycle. It has been going through. It's a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Now, all I require is your blessings that I continue on this and make that other side less and less and go zero. But the struggle, should I do something more than what I am doing?
Don't do anything more. Stay with what you're doing. The struggle happens to every sadhak. Nobody has come free without a struggle. So don't get unnerved and beaten by this. Fearlessness is very important. Hold on and continue to practice. You don't have to add anything. It's not like some kind of shopping. Add this, add that. No. Stay with whatever you're doing. Continue with it and have confidence that one day you will come out successfully. The temptation and distraction happen to all human beings. I have also had. We have all worked very hard. It's not like, but working hard doesn't mean to have a constant painful expression on your face. Oh, not that. Laugh, move forward. If something comes, say, okay, I know this is coming. Let it go and move forward. And just as you have duplicated Mahabalipuram behind you, try to bring that Mahabalipuram inside you.
Yes, I will do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vanakkam. At least I should say Vanakkam. Everybody say Namaskar.
Sir, next, Vidya Venkatraman.
So this should be the last question because we have only 3 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For this session. Yeah, Vidya.
My question was actually about karma, which you answered.
Yeah.
But I also want to ask you that situations and people are projections of the mind. Can you just expand on that?
To a great extent. Look, the same situation faced by you
Yeah.
may be faced by another person in a different way.
Okay.
Why? Because of your mind and that person's mind. They are two different entities. So therefore, you are projecting one kind of understanding to the same problem, while the other person is projecting a different image to the same problem. So ultimately, what is it? It is your mind's projection.
Okay.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I and you may be facing the same problem, let's say. A dacoit or a man's getting fully drunk and coming near me and thinking that I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
You and me, we are having the same problem, let's say.
Yeah.
Not together, separately. Together I'll save you, that is different. But separately. Then how do you handle it? How do I handle it? What is my projection? My projection of the person is, poor guy, he is drunk, he is trying to do this. Let's not harm him. But let us defend ourselves and take the bottle from his hand and take him to the nearest care center. That will be my response.
Okay.
Because I can see that deep down, poor fellow is like us only. There is no difference. Your projection may be, oh God, he is coming with a bottle, he is drunk, and start running and screaming. See, situation is the same.
Okay.
Persons are different, therefore projections are different. That's what I mean.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Ganesh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now we need to call it a day till the next either physical meeting or internet, whatever comes first.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Not at all.
An excellent and a great experience for us, having not been able to interact with you. I think every one of us, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you. Close with a short Shanti Mantra, sir.
Sure. You chant.
Okay, sir.
I listen.
Om Channo Mitrasham Varunaha Channo Bhavatvargama Channa Indro Brihaspatihi Channo Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Kritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tasbhaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Bhaktaram Om Shanti
Shanti Shanti. Okay.
Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.
Thank you, Ganesh.